And in the bottom left, in the blue for Dragon Phoenix Gaming, it's Dark.
And playing for Team NV, our reigning King of Battles champion, this is the Red Terran player Maru.
All right. So in game one, or excuse me, not in game one, in the last series that Maru played, we saw Raynor occasionally going for those 12 pools because in part, Korean Terrans do not like to STV scout. That being said, I bring up an idea. Dark immediately says, no, we don't talk about that. It's a normal opening here. And I guess that's fair. It's Glittering Ashes. Who kills anyone on Glittering Ashes before 15 minutes?
It's just one of the more solid macro maps that we've got going right now. But I think for Dark to try and come out super hyper aggressive, like I'll throw both of those qualifiers on there. I think that would be a mistake. That's one of those like, oh, I could anticipate you going after that, but that's not Dark's style. That would be a sign of weakness. I can't beat my opponent by playing a normal game. I'm gonna have to like cheese him out. Like, no, that's definitely not Dark's thing. I mean, we're gonna see a lot more tight 7 to 10 minute window timings out of him. I wouldn't be surprised to see that Roach timing that you were talking about earlier, but definitely there's going to be a lot of flexing of egos in this series, and trying to toss in a cheap early win, not going to be the style of either player.
Yeah, absolutely. Certainly not on Glittering Ash. You talk about that 1-1 Roach timing, that Roach style that, again, this is really is Dark's idea. However, it's Glittering Ashes. Yes, it is less turtling. It's less turtleable, if that's a word, than say Romanticide was. You do have that additional access or two into the 4-base setup. You have like 3 or 4 attack paths into this one. It's still damn hard to do. And getting a big clump of roaches, I mean, roaches are not the smallest things, up one of these ramps into tanks, into a bioconcave, is not really going to be all that easy for you. So I think in this game, we will see Dark get forced into that late game a little bit more. And I'm actually really curious to see how this happens. Because you got to remember here, Maru is, again, that late game favorite, but we have not seen Dark really play Maru in that style all that much. The only real big data point we have, at least of games that I've seen, is, of course, from DreamHack Masters winner, where Dark did lose, but the games weren't insanely one-sided.
And that's not a huge surprise from anybody's perspective here. And I don't imagine it's going to be the same way here. You're predicting a 3-1 for Maru, and even though that would look on paper like, oh man, he really gave it to him, but it's probably still going to be really strong games and not overwhelmingly favored one way or the other. We're going to stay rather standard here so far. Just a 1-1-1 out of Maru. It's going to send the Hellions out across the map and do his normal scouting and harass. And I think Dark is going to be well equipped in just navigating this opening sense. This is what the Koreans excel in. They excel in normalcy, and it's going to go into a setup for Cloak Banshee. I mean, this is going to be as normal as it can be, and I think your insinuation earlier is going to come true. Nobody wins on Glittering Ashes before the 15-minute mark, and this is starting to boil up to be a long-form game for both players.
Oh, now we're going to have Maru look to dive on in. How many lings does Dark have? It's not very many. Speed is not yet done. He went for the solar timing, the 4-minute timing, and now we're going to see how many workers go down. It's actually only going to be 3 here, and there we go. The rest of the Hellions, actually the drone storm is going to be fantastic. It's going to be 5, but the map control for Maru is done. That being said, getting five drones this early on is not something that Dark expects whatsoever. And that's just the punish, right? That is the problem with going for the adjusted Clash opening, or the solar opening is kind of the player I first started to see do that earlier this year, where yeah, you delay that Overlord. You get your speed at 4 minutes instead of 3:30 because the Terran's not going to dive past all my creep into my natural, right?
and we see that more often than not. We don't see them making that risky play because you could easily just lose so much if you've misread the opening here. But now we're going to see the follow-up for Maru. He does have his cloak finished up here. These drones are going to have to get pulled off of immediately. Is there going to be a wraparound on the aggression? No, and no follow-up Hellions, no follow-up units pushing in to catch the running drones here. But 4 workers are going to go down. The 5th one's going to get picked off. That Banshee's going to get very, very low. Is it going to get picked off? No, just outside of vision there. So 10 drones in total, and it's going to try and pick up a couple of these creep tumors. Maru's already doing a nice amount of work, but look at the supply already. It's 74 to 61. Is the harassment going to cost him in the early game economy?
No, I mean, he's got 10 workers, right? He's in a good spot here. And honestly, on top of that, you don't expect to get maybe 3 or 4 workers. Yeah, you can pair Banshees and you'll find something, but you do not expect to see this magnitude of damage from a Terran player in the early game. So yeah, Maru really should be fine here as we do see another Overlord go down. No big deal, but the scouting there is removed. Maru, he has his third base underway, and this is interesting, right? We talked about Dark Styles. I'm not that surprised. He can certainly play both styles here, and Glittering Ashes is maybe not the best roach map, but it is going to be Ling Bane. That being said, it looks like it's probably going to be Ling Bane into like Hydra Ling Bane on Glittering Ashes here. And that generally when you go for this Ling Bane style, traditionally at least, you get 2 quick evos. You get your upgrades. They're going to be a little bit faster than the Terran, but that's not going to be the case here. So Maru's actually going to have a very nice timing where he's going to be able to move across the map here, take that double upgrade advantage. That being said, of course, it is not going to time out before Baneling speed is done, and actually the creep spread of Dark, despite how much pressure has been on the map here, is going to be rather nice indeed. As there we go, Dark's going to have his 5th base delayed, but he's already got 4. It's going to be mostly fine.
And he's picking up the macro hatch as well. So yeah, your Hydra Ling Bane potential here still very much in the works. We need to see the Hydra Den go down if we're going to get that to come true. +1 melee, +1 carapace on the way. We do have centrifugal hooks finishing up here, and that's going to be a good timing to try and pick this off. Grabbing one of those Banshees, a very good snipe here by Dark. That's going to eliminate some of the harassment here on the high side of his base count, and it's going to be a nice little roll by here. These Banelings are going to get in there. He's not pulling. Going to get a far less than he probably could have, but 7 going to go down in total. Not an insignificant number here.
Yeah, absolutely. But now, there we go. We have the drop from Maru trying to find his way on in. I believe it got a queen, but that's just about it, as now it's going to be forced on out here. Creep spread not around the 5th base just yet, though, which is the problem. And yeah, there we go. Hydra Den coming down as well. This is that timing, right? You go Ling Bane for a while. You survive the first couple sets of pressure. You survive the Hellions, you survive the Banshees. Then you're like, okay, I can add the rest of my gases here to get up to where I want to be. I can get that extra base. I have an economy. I have enough Banelings developed that I can afford to get Hydras now. I can afford to get Hydra Den. I can afford to eventually get that Infestation Pit and move on in. But you talked about the Baneling run by there. That is the timing. Baneling speed is done. You immediately morph 4 to 6 Banes. You try to put it in the Terran 3rd base. Just take advantage of the fact that they don't know exactly. They have a very good idea, but they don't know exactly when Bane speed is done. So maybe they're not going to react quite when you need them to, especially when they're pushing in right like that. As the target fire there on all the Banelings will go down here. Maru just trying to flex on us in this game 1. 1 Baneling will get through, but the hot pickup is going to be good enough. And that was cost efficient.
I think this is starting to possibly look a little bit of a weaker position here for Dark. He's done a really good job of trying to mitigate his losses, but Maru really evening things out here and actually does take the supply lead. Going to work away on that creep. Dark's creep spread for this large of a map, actually surprisingly tame, honestly. I think he is doing a good job of covering himself out in front of his bases, but it's not providing him a whole lot in terms of scouting information. So now he's going to get Dropper Lords going in different directions. Baneling drops. You said that it was going to take Dark pulling out some cheeky little stunts to get into this game, but Maru's all on top of it here. One of these is going to make some value.
I mean, it's not the best thing, but certainly it's enough. I mean, he's able to knock down a decent amount of those Marines. You don't want to lose that, but better than losing it for absolutely nothing. Here's another Overseer will go down. I mean, it's not all that expensive right now, but it maybe will come to the form later on. That being said, Overseer's not really all that important right now. There's one Banshee on the map that's not doing all that much, and Maru, he's just getting himself very set up to go into that late game. We have tanks on the way. Oh, but he's going to Widow Mines as well. This is interesting. I mean, yes, Dark has shown that he's going Ling Bane. Right, that is all that Maru has seen in this game, but he is into Hydra Tech now. Although he hasn't built any Hydra Tech, just playing on Ling Bane into Lurkers. But eventually, I mean, these Widow Mine, I'm sorry, no, he has shown some Hydras. Lurkers Hydras into Widow Mines, really not all that great. I mean, because Hydras do outrange, and that is the traditional counter. You do want more tanks there. So I believe once Maru starts to see that, he may stay on Widow Mines just a little bit longer because they are still good against the Ling Bane. But we should see him transition back into tanks soon enough. Now, Hive is just about done. We talked about this, the different timings that you can go into Hive with Hydroling Bane. All right, Dark went for the really quick one. It means he's going to have a Lurker Den rather quickly. He's going to have Seismic Spines rather quickly. But of course, Maru's already well prepared. Ghosts are already hitting the field here before 2-2 is even done. But I wonder, I don't believe Dark has a Lurker Den yet. We will see the Widowmine, or excuse me, the Banelings get 10 workers and a bunch of Marines. Is Dark actually going to commit to Lurkers? Or is he just going to say, hey, look, you know what? I'm going to stay on Wing Bane. I'm going to get 3-3. As we have Dark looking to move in now. Lings filtering on into that third base, trying to do what they can. Tanks are not quite sieged. But that is a murderer's row. That is a meat grinder here. Even still, though, Dark filtering on in, getting past the second layer, getting past the third layer here. Now the tanks are sieged, and it will go down. But the Hydras and the Lings, they do remain. Has Dark just broken Maru here in game one?
Got 25 workers. He's absolutely broken the economy of his opponent here, but he's got to be able to clean this up. 171 to 115 is a surprising number for Maru to be staring at here. And he kind of looks at his screen a little bit in disbelief. How did Dark manage to get in there? The SimCity was really set up well, but you said it yourself, the tank's not quite in position to be able to deal what they need to. So now Dark can just continue to expand himself. He's got 3-3 now underway. All of this, like, can we keep in mind that all of this with muscular augments not on his Hydras? So his Hydras aren't even fully powered yet, and he's getting the maximum amount of damage out of these units. Dark is able to maintain that map control. Maru's trying to recover himself, but look at the units lost tab right there. It's almost dead even between those two players, and that's always going to benefit the Zerg.
That is insane. But the thing we got to remember, and you know, yes, caster bias, etc., etc., etc. We have seen Maru go into some pretty bad positions in games against Raynor, in games against Rogue, in games against every top tier Zerg in the world. But if he can get to that late game, if he can get to like 10 plus ghosts, suddenly it doesn't seem to matter. And he's just going to start training more and more. But yeah, Dark does not want to let him get there whatsoever. Lings, Banes, Hydras filtering on in the tanks. 1, 2, 3 go down the back line. The one tank that still remains trying to do what it can. We're going to see the third base. It's going to get target fired. The Baneling drops as well. 21 workers go down. I believe the third command center, no, it did get repaired. And Maru holds again, but it's damn expensive.
Yeah, I mean, losing another set of 20 workers is not going to be something that's going to be easy to come back from, even though he's doing a decent job of keeping his army size close to Dark. Dark's in the process of getting himself transitioned into a later game set. He is throwing down the Ultralisk Den, getting additional Banelings, additional Zerglings, and he's just continuing to swarm his way through. But look at the timer there, 13 minutes. Is he going to hold it out? Is he going to make it last just a little bit longer? Push coming in here. Maru feels like he's got to create a little bit of distance between him and his opponent. Dark's going to be able to start expanding even further out, starting to take more bases here. I'm just not sure what Maru can do right now that's going to give him the substantial edge back in this game, BeoMulf.
Well, Rushi, look at the production tab. Well, we actually can't look at the production tab right now, but imagine you were. We've been talking about this Hydroling Bane timing, this Lurker timing that Dark really has not been going for, because instead, you know, he has the Swarm. He did not get +1 range. He's not getting +2 ranged. No, there's an Ultra Cavern down. He's getting Chitinous Plating. He is going into, well, effectively, you know, just like your traditional Ling Bane Ultra with maybe a couple Hydras to deal with the Liberators, which is not a style we see all that often. But against this army here for Maru, maybe it's going to work because he's going to filter on in. Once again, the tank's in a really good position, hiding behind that planetary. Baneling's trying to filter on in. So many mules, so many SCVs go down, the base goes down, everything goes down. And as much as I say, you know, Maru, maybe he's in a good position here. I don't believe he has personal cloaking yet. Nothing to really keep these ghosts alive. And Maru, again, his economy is shattered. He's back down to 3 bases. And, you know, yeah, Maru's able to max out. He's able to recover it a little bit. Getting a ghost, getting bio with 3-3, getting ghosts, getting these tanks, everything like that. Yeah, it's really good against a bunch of ultras. But you need to have an economy to trade properly.
It's just unfortunate for Maru that Dark has 3,000 minerals in the bank. Right now, Zergling are just absolutely great. It's the BM Swarm Hose coming in from Dark. GG's called. And the Zerg player takes an early 1-0 lead in this best of 5. Dark showing that he could go the distance here, BeoMulf. He's going to show the doubters just who's in charge in his best of 5.
Yeah, you know, Berlingrad has a much more wide open third. All I'm saying, it's a 33 second rush distance. It's a lot more pushable as, yeah, there we go, 16 pool. Dark going with the punish that Raynor has liked to talk about against these Korean Terrans that do not like to SCV scout all that much. That can absolutely be punished by, A denying the scout, B getting 4 lings across the map, delaying that command center, making life oh so difficult for the Terran player, making them assume the worst, that it's going to be a 19 drone, 3 roach, 2 Ravager timing. It's going to be something crazy. And just, as they say, a Dark map is a scary map. And if Dark's playing, it's doubly so.
Imagine, if you will, BeoMulf. Imagine a world where Dark can pull a quick one over Maru and get himself up 2-0 early in the semifinals. Like, first off, chat's going to lose their minds. Second off, like, Steadfast and some drunk Canadian are going to lose their minds. Like, I think we're all going to collectively lose our minds here. It's a Roach War in early? Is it happening?
Okay, so I was memeing. I'm like, I don't think Dark's going to do this. I think he's going to go for, 6 lings, delay a command center, go from there. I didn't think he was going to go for the Roach pressure. It's just something that is really not in the meta right now. But also, we talked about this in game 1. Or not nearly as strong in the meta as, say, other openings, even with a 16 pool. He's doing it. Dark did that in game 1 too. He played counter to the meta. I mean, granted, it didn't matter because his ultras were never really brought to bear. He won the game too early, but he's putting that slight Dark twist on meta builds here. But look at this. Maru going for, he's going for a 3-Rax build. Oh, the lings get in the main. It's going to be a full scout here. This is disastrous here for Maru.
Oh, I mean, Dark's in such a very delicate position right here. He can still very easily accidentally throw this and let Maru get the upper hand here in game number 2, but it's shenanigans abound. It's 4 roaches already on the production tab, but by the time those roaches are able to get across the map, there's going to be a bunker down in the natural. There's going to be a very strong amount of Marines. How is Dark going to be able to navigate this?
Well, you know what? Yeah, maybe he's not going to be able to get quite as much. Well, that being said, even with the bunker completing, and I'm not convinced that, that bunker's gonna, I think, just barely complete. There's not a lot of here right now, and without Stim, I mean, Roach's Ravagers will be able to do a fairly good job here. And there we go, we have the Overlord. It will get targeted, fired out, but okay, lings get on top of the SCV. Do they delay the bunker? They do it 99%! And now these Roaches find their way on in. You save the low Roach, turn it into a Ravager. The bunker does complete now. Which means that, yes, the natural command center will be allowed to complete. The bunker is up. Maru may still be forced to give up his natural. But building 3 Marines at a time. Actually, now building 2 Marauders at a time. He's getting concussive shells here. Dark, has to be very careful. He very easily could lose this entire army. And by the way, he's not droning up behind this. This is not the, yes, I built 3 Roach. I built 5 total Roaches. 2 of them were turned into Ravagers. I put some pressure on the Terran and he then ran home. No. He's building a lot more. He is piling in on this one. He thinks he has what it takes to win this game. And considering this is a 3-Rax, considering that we have multiple Marauders on the field right now and a bunker and concussive shells done, I remain unconvinced.
I'm completely skeptical here. There's no high ground vision as well, BeoMulf, so if this starts to push towards the ramp, well, okay, I guess there is an Overlord replacement here, so I take that back, then retract that thought. But still, I mean, this is a lot of Marines, this is a lot of, concussive shell Marauders can be very scary, so yeah, it's going to force all of these Roaches into Ravager count just to be able to mitigate a little bit of that advantage here, but the pull on the workers, it's 31 workers to 17. Even with all of these SCVs on repair duty, there's still a better advantage economically here for Maru. Maru just needs to hold. Dark doesn't have a whole lot behind this. He's just continuing to prep more and more units. Zerglings keep streaming across the map, and just not enough on these biles to be able to knock down this bunker. And every second that goes by, Maru's going to be more and more prepared.
Yeah, you got to remember, we have Stim. It's 2/3 of the way down here. Combat shields as well. We will have factories for Cyclones eventually, as now the bust coming on, and the bunker is going down. Of course, that was always going to happen here when Dark did commit. But now we're going to see all the lings are dead. Only 5 SCVs have died. But this is 7 Ravagers. This is a lot of DPS in this army, a lot of range, a lot of forced movement from Dark in this game, just not really allowing the bio to sit and fire here as the bio's on the ramp. But now Maru looking to move on forward, just adeptly dodging, dipping, diving, and weaving against all of these bios. But now we're going to start to see it go down a little bit. Maru, he's got Stim though. He's going to Stim on in. Dark's army is falling down. All the Ravagers are falling apart here. SCV's getting pulled, but now the Marines are dead. Dark will force Maru back, and now he's been forced to give up the low ground.
Well, now you got to think about the target firing here for Dark. He's got to be able to target the right things. The command center seems like a good pick, but it's actually a bit of a scary precipice for Dark to sit on. And again, I talk about how he's just one casual mistake away from accidentally tossing away this game number 2, but 17 workers doesn't lie, BeoMulf. Maru's having a difficult time trying to restabilize here, and every Marine and Marauder that goes down right now is army that isn't able to defend against this push. Now the Lings are going to be able to force the lift on the orbital command. Another supply depot goes down. 2 more Marines are going to add in here, but with Stim, is this going to be enough to push this army back?
Well, we will see a barracks actually go down here. The SCV pull is going to be incorrect. So yeah, we got Marines. Sure that your combat shields is done. That's going to be very nice, but no more Marines are going to be built for quite a while here because there's no reactor. And I guess we are building Marines out of one of these tech lab barracks. Still, it's not all that great. The command center is now on the high ground, and yeah, 23 workers don't lie, but still Maru does have that lead. He still does have double mules eventually, but what I'm really looking for are cyclones. And it does not look like we saw that happen here today. We just saw actually a reactor go down on that factory. I guess maybe just trying to allow for maybe double Marine production. As now we will see what a great block there of everything. 7 more workers do go down. The egg should die though. But Dark, he's joining behind this. He says, I have got enough damage done at this point. I have broken your army twice now. I've killed so many workers. And yeah, you got Stim, you got combat shields. I don't know if it's worth that anymore. Now Maru stimming on down, getting the last of the Ravagers, getting the last of the Roaches, because you know what? Healing is a good unit. Rushi. And now the push of Dark is done. Did he get enough?
I don't think he did, or I don't think Maru has enough to respond to this, rather. Sorry, I think he did do enough. I think Dark has done enough to be able to extend this game forward. It's not done by any stretch, but look at that units lost tab. 4,000 minerals gone to Dark's measly 2,600, and that's with Ravagers gone and Roaches gone. But I'm not sure if this is going to be enough to push back here. The queen count, though, is just 1. So this actually could still be a very scary push here for Maru, and Maru's no stranger to getting a lot of damage done with a small amount of units. But for me, it's Dark having a lack of queens to be able to harass that medevac. That's going to give a lot more extension to this push here, as one Roach is going to get singled out and taken down immediately. Follow-up is going to be able to push that away, but there's no vision right now to be able to deal with that mine. Oh, but what if he just picks it off? He does. He grabs it. What a mistake by Maru. That takes a lot of the defense power out of this push, so suddenly not as much to anchor this down, and both players are going to have to start macroing back behind this to stay in it.
I mean, you got to remember here, as much damage as Dark got, he did lose like 1,000 cast of Ravagers. And actually after that fight, yeah, the minerals loss was pretty in Dark's favor, but total resources was much closer. So when we look at that, I mean, again, it's questionable, but also Maru's tech is so advanced over Dark right now. He has every single tech lab upgrade. He has enough Marauders that he can just get on top of things, and that's what I was worried about. Here we are fighting its way on into the natural. The Ravagers get target fire down. A queen does pop, but that does not matter. Drones are getting forced to defend this, and yeah, 21 workers was a lot against a Terran that had 35. What about, you know, killing an entire base here and all the drones with it, as Maru just continuing to rally across the map with personal healers on every Marauder at this point, pretty much. This army from Maru is not dying.
No, not anytime soon. And now that a lot of the stronger parts of the army here are picked off, Ravagers are no longer an eligible part of this army here with the gas count as low as it is for Dark. He's only able to add a couple more on at this point, but now there's going to be additional units coming across here from Maru. Tank's going to be able to sink in. These Lings are going to try and connect, but they're going to run into the retreating army, so not even going to find any major issues here. And now suddenly becomes an economic battle. Maru's able to stabilize his economy on his 2 base once again, but Dark is only on 2 base, and you really need to see 3 hatcheries if you're going to match the economic blow for blow with the Terran player. And suddenly now we see that supply start to shift 91 to 75. Maru's going to be able to start exploding forward here, and Dark's going to be left behind if he's not careful.
Yeah, my question, actually, Rushi, is this game, we got a little moment to sit back and think, you know, no player being too aggressive on the map at the moment. How does Dark ever take a third? He has Roaches, he has Link speed, that's nice, but he has 0 creep. In fact, one might argue he has negative creep on the map at this point. Yes, he's going to attempt to take his third right now, but the moment Maru moves out again, unless we're actually able to start to develop the creep properly, I don't really know how that's going to happen. I mean, at this point, Maru, his +1 is just about done. He's got tanks on the map here. His army supply dwarfs the Roach player. I think we're going to go back to a 2-base Zerg rather soon, and you don't win as a 2-base Zerg.
No, absolutely not. You've no production. You've got no creep spread. You've got no vision. You've no map control. You just have nothing. You have nothing. Dark did everything he could to try and win within the first. Well, I mean, we're at the 11-minute mark of this game. It doesn't feel like so much time has passed, but this is going to be the push that shuts things down. Tank's going to be able to get sieged up in a nice location, but they do have to get sieged up. Those Ravager bots are going to be able to pick off one of the forward tanks. Immediate cancel on that third base. Dark can't hold that low ground at all, and that's going to allow Maru to continue pivoting forward. There's going to be a nice little run by here in the natural, but 4 workers is not going to be enough. He's got to be able to shut down this army. There's going to be enough tanks and enough bio, and +1 on top of it is going to allow him to stim on forward. GG is called. Maru evens up the series here and wants it to give us a full series, BeoMulf. We're going to get a lot of fun here. I can already feel it.
In that game, and then that previous game, Dark, more than anything, kind of got built over countered. Yeah, he went Reaper Expand, and that's not all that great against a 16 pool like that, or against the Roach push in particular. Reaper Expand is actually fairly good against just a pure 16 pool. But it was the 3-backs behind that. And we saw Concussive Shells really make it so hard for Maru to take, or for Dark to take that fight once the Roaches were revealed. I think you do that against against a standard 1-1-1. And as long as you're able to just put some pressure on the Cyclones and not allow them to just do the pure lock on, yeah, I'm going to get a Ravager every time, you know, maybe Dark's able to make that happen. That being said, I think he did overcommit just a little bit. He got baited in. He had Maru really contained on that one base for a rather while. I think he droned maybe just a little bit too late.
Well, I think he felt very confident that he got enough damage done there, and I think for a lot of people, I think it seemed that he was able to capitalize on that. So at that point, yeah, you don't want to take your foot off the gas too early, especially when you think you can, okay, I'm just one more wave. I'm one more wave of Lings across the map from just like pushing them over and getting that early 2-0 lead in the series. So, just a very calculated defense by Maru to hold things down and give Dark the sense of I was gonna say entitlement, but like that's not the right word. Just a sense of comfort that he was gonna be able to clean up that game. So game number 3 is gonna take us back to a more slow standard opening. Maru's gonna be able to come across and start his Reaper harassment. But Hardwire is kind of the best of both worlds here. Not a super short map, but not a super long map either, which could open us up for a variety of different pathways for both players.
Oh, see, Rushi, I figured it out. Dark is going to win this game. I know this right now.
Yeah. Okay.
He has 3 times the armor supply of Maru right now. How do you come back from that? You just can't. That's a proper meme right there. I love that one. I mean, that's just numbers, right? It's just purely mathematics. And I know they say never to do math on stream, but I mean, that one seems pretty solid. There's definitely no way that that's ever going to come back and bite us. I mean, look, Rushi, you would think I would be able to, you know, I'm getting a PhD. You think I would be good at the number? I'm not, by the way, just so we're clear. But it gives me just enough confidence to get math wrong on stream all the time. So I'm glad I was able to get that one right. I'm glad we're fine there. Thank you, as we are in concert in this game number 3. That was a stretch. I'm sorry.
It wasn't as good as your first one. I didn't want to like reward you for something that didn't deserve rewarding, but like you're gonna give it your best try next time around. So I believe in you.
Oh, Rushi, what you don't understand is that. Oh, wait 1 second. I'm sorry. That was my best try, but you know what? It's Hardwire, and Maru is going Cattle Bruisers. We got a fusion core underway. This does not strike me as necessarily a Maru style. I mean, back when everyone was doing it, sure, but I haven't seen, at least in the games I've seen, I don't think I've seen Maru do this all that recently.
No, I would definitely say that this is a little bit of a riff here. He's got his third base already going into an orbital command. He's going to have battle cruisers coming up. Dark's going to have to get maybe a little bit more creative to try and figure this out. He does have the Overlord over to the bottom right-hand side, but the Marines on patrol shooing that away. We do have a lair already in the works as well. The Queen count's going to be elevated on top of it, so it's possible that this could end up being okay, but he's going to get a full clear on the scout here. That Overlord's going to get out. Dark's going to remain in the dark about this for right now.
Wait. Sorry, Rushi. Not only is this battlecruisers, take a look at how many gases are in the field right now. I'm pretty sure this is going to be mech coming from Maru in this game 3. And yes, Maru has been experimenting with mech more and more in online cups. We saw him play Bjorn in a best of 7 PC Foreman tournament like 2 months ago, and he did play mech 3 games in that series, but I have not seen him play mech against a Zerg player in quite a while. But if you are worried, if you're thinking that, say, Dark is maybe going to go for Roshi boys, you get a lot more tanks, maybe that's going to work out. But Dark, she's doing that same thing he did in game number 1. We got a Baneling Nest underway. We have Evos on the way. It's going to be Lingbane, probably into Hydras. Whether he goes to Lurker transition or not, I mean, that's a later decision than what we're going to see right now. And, well, we're going to have to see whether Maru can get the early damage he needs. Because one of the caveats of playing mech, for the most part, you need to get worker damage. You need to slow down the Zerg, because otherwise, your mid-game pressure is just going to fall apart against a maxed out Zerg player that really doesn't take all that much. You need that time to get up to 150 supply, to get up to maybe your first round of upgrades, to get enough on the ground that you're able to make something happen here. The Hellions will find this hatch. Granted, Hellions don't really kill hatches unless Dark is doing just about nothing, but still, they're aware that it exists at least.
Oh, but everything's going to combine here. The battlecruiser jumps on in. Queens are going to be used for energy right now, but there go the Hellions into the natural. They're going to get picked up by a whole ton of Banelings. Those are just absolutely gone. 2 still remain, so there will be a little bit more drone damage, but that could have been so much worse here for Dark. Mars going to have to drive the battlecruiser off in a way, but what a wild exchange there. Still double-digit kills here for Maru.
You know, double-digit kills for Marmar as he tries to take out Dardar.
Those Banelings absolutely saved the game for Dark right there. I mean, that was a wild exchange. I mean, we didn't even get a chance to see that. It was I don't think anybody saw that coming. The only person knew was Dark, and Dark's going to be able to pivot here. He's got his Spire on the way, so Corruptors are going to be able to help limit some of this battlecruiser production and possession of the map. But wow, what a wild back and forth here in game number 3.
Yeah, it really was. I mean, yeah, Maru lost a lot of his map control. I mean, one of the benefits is we do see the absolute destruction here of drones into the third base. One of the benefits of going for mech, getting all of these factories early on, Yip can rebuild your Hellions. As long as you're able to get some trades, as long as you're able to remove the economy of Dark just a little bit, you know, losing Hellions here or there, it's not the end of the world. And that being said, those Baneling connections were fantastic, don't get me wrong. But I'm wondering here, we don't have a Roach Warren yet. We have that Spire underway. I wonder whether Dark is like, look, I maybe committed this to a little... Oh, there we go. Okay. There's the Roach Warren. There's 1-1. He already has +1 melee. I was going to say, you know, is Dark going to go for that Lingbane Muta style that is just so active trying to deal with mech? I was hoping we weren't, but yeah, we're fine here. 2 queens will go down. A 3rd queen as well, as we have the Spore get camped. We have the queens get camped here. Now, this Spore should be continuously be transfused. Should be able to stay alive. There we go. But still, 3 queens. It is not insignificant. As now we have, of course, Corruptors hitting the field, Infestation Pit, Dark getting ready to move on into that mid-game, into that late game. I would love to see him just get a 5th base already. I mean, Maru is taking his 4th base right now at 8 minutes in. It's that 4th base timing. It is that 8 gas timing where mech starts to become really scary. Well, that coupled with 150 supply, coupled with 1-1, and hey, Rushi, take a look at the supply tab. Take a look at the upgrades tab. We're getting there. Getting there pretty quickly.
I mean, I don't even think we're getting there. I think we're already there. When you're down 30 supply, well, I guess you close the gap there pretty fast. But when you're down in any supply to a mech player as a Zerg, I mean, that's very, very scary. And the goal that Maru needed to accomplish here, trying to kill off economy, get drones, is absolutely working for him here, and Maru's able to limit Dark's ability to just expand out of control. There is going to be a 5th base still going down in the bottom right hand corner, but this is starting to look like a very scary mech army. 3 battle cruisers, the tank count is starting to excel here. We've got upgrades on the way as well for 2-2 in the vehicle weapon and armor. I mean, and things are going very, very well here for Maru. Dark's going to have to pull out some tricks once again here, and we do see that Baneling drop heading up to the top left-hand side, but very good coverage on those sentry towers. That should be easy to deflect.
Yeah, the trick really is, though, is Dark is ideally going to look to move into both at the same time. Force Maru to maybe only defend one, as looks like the 5th base will not be delayed. We're fine there. So there we go. Baneling's about to get dropped on in. Cyclone's on the lock-on. Yeah, this is not going to find any value. Meanwhile, we do have a Baneling drop coming on in the main base. Maybe that's going to find a little bit more value, and it looks like it will. Maru not quite paying attention. His splits are going to be a little bit late. 7 workers go down, but 7 workers for 2 Dropper Lords, 8 Banelings. It's starting to approach worth. The thing I'm tracking, though, the thing that I'm really scared about is the relative supply. You expect to see a Zerg max out a lot faster than a mech player will. You expect them to start to try to break a mech player before they get their 5th base. But Dark just seems very content to move into the late game. He seems very content, or maybe he just doesn't feel like it's possible to break Maru at this point after all the damage that he did take in the early game. But as it stands, you know, we're going to have to see where he goes once he gets that next layer effect, once he gets that hive. He, of course, he's not getting any more Carapace upgrades. Tanks overkill things. You really don't want to get Carapace for the most part. So it looks like he's just massing Corruptors, looking to maybe kill off all of the battlecruisers in the sky, then maybe kill a base or 2. As there we go, Blue Flame is going to annihilate all of these Lings. And the funny thing, by the way, all else being equal, if these Hellions turn into Hellbats, did you know, actually 3/3 Hellbats beat 3/3 Roaches, surprisingly enough.
Yeah, it's a surprising to absolutely nobody. Things are slowly shaping up here for a big push from Maru. He's going to take his army out, getting those Hellbats pre-built out. He needs to be able to prevent the full surrounds here by these Lings, and he's going to be able to slow walk this like a pretty stereotypical tech army of the Terran. But things are going to get a little bit weird positioning-wise. The Corruptors should be able to come and zone out to those battle cruisers, and it's a lot of weird high ground versus low ground right now. Baneling's going to be able to connect onto the Cyclones on the right-hand side, but Biles will be able to deal with the rest of it. The battle cruisers were actually blinked out. Where did they actually end up going? Did they go back home to defend?
No, they went back home because about 30 Corruptors were jumping on top of them saying, oh, I don't want to take that fight. But now we have, what, 20, 30 Corruptors here, really not doing all that much. As there we go, the Raven is going to get some Dorito Cannon action coming on in the second line of tanks, evaporating a lot of these Roaches, but Dark does have the remax. He does have the remax. He's doing a good job of making sure that his supply stays alive. As we see just so many Corruptors go down. Now it's only 15, now it's only 14 on the map. If we have another fight like that, if the Cyclones are able to get another lock on, there we're going to see the VCs come back into play here. Tanks siege on up once again. Link's trying to get on top of things, just trying to do what they can to just really mess with the tank AI there, but not quite successful. That being said, it is starting to feel here like the push for Maru is starting to peter out just a little bit. Right, his supply is starting to drop just a little bit. Every time Dark looks to make another break happen, we see a couple more tanks due to go down here. As once again, Dark, he's looking for that break. We will see one tank is not sieged. It looks like the entire line, actually, of Maru is going to get taken out now, but that's still a lot of Roaches. There's still a lot of Ravagers going down. The Cyclones, with their lock-ons, doing a decent job. And that there, friends, that is the 2-2 mech timing that a lot of mech players will look to try to end the game with. There we go. We got another rally from Maru finding his way on in. You got to remember, he's on 6 or 7 factories right now. That is, yeah, he's on 7 factories right now. That is a lot of, well, actually he's going Cyclones, but that's a lot of mech units.
Well, it's a lot of Corruptors that aren't finding a whole lot of value right now outside of just keeping the battle cruisers out of the engagement. So it's evening up the fight on the ground a little bit, but Dark's going to find a way to get some value out of those Corruptors soon. And it looks like he is trying to zip around on the left-hand side of that mini-map and see what he could possibly find. But he's going to find all of the Cyclones. That's going to be a lot of lock-ons, and therefore so much supply of Corruptors. I guess Maru did him a favor. He's like, oh, hey, can you take care of these for me? I really don't want to do it myself. I got you, no big deal. But that's a lot of supply you really don't just want to toss away.
Well, what you got to remember is these Corruptors, they haven't been doing a lot in the fight outside of keeping the battle cruisers away, which, you know, do actually fairly significant damage. The Yamatos do a great job there as battle cruisers now be forced to work back home. But with only 4 Corruptors here, and yes, these battle cruisers, they do not have any air upgrades yet, but they do have +3 armor as that upgrade does complete. They're beefy boys. They will not die to 4 Corruptors, so we're going to have to see whether Dark decides to remake that or just remaxes back on the ground. What I would love to see, though, is resource loss, because Dark has been doing a fairly good job of keeping his core bases alive, but his bank is not growing. As now we're going to have the army pushing on in once again. Roach Ravagers trying to get on top of everything. Right now we have just enough tanks to try to keep the Lings back. Meanwhile, of course, the lock-ons here, those are the big issues. And now with only 2 Corruptors remaining, we have 2 battle cruisers. Actually, excuse me, third battle cruiser was repaired. It is back. 3 battle cruisers with this army, and that is just so much DPS in the air that is pretty much uncounterable unless, you know, a Bile manages to hit. But I mean, he's Maru. It's really not going to happen. And even if it is, it's not going to be enough to really kill them off at this point. Tanks now sieging on up. Maru now going for that 3-3 death push. Corruptors looking for the fight, but the lock-ons on the Cyclones are there. The Corruptors are going down. GG. Maru, he wins a mech game, and he goes up 2-1.
So yeah, I mean, this was the map that that Maru just cleared Raynor on to advance forward, if I remember correctly, the previous series today.
Actually, I didn't get to see that game. I was getting prepped for this. But I will believe you, Rushi, because when has my co-caster ever lied to me about anything?
Oh, don't set me up for that kind of failure. So sad.
No. Rushi, the ultimate truth. Is, he's not the truthless, although I don't know what that means quite yet. I only just started the book. I do apologize, folks. Those of you that are fans of Sanderson, I've only just now started reading that. But anyway, Rushi is the truth, the way, and the light. And he will never steer me wrong in anything in this world.
Well, when you set too high of expectations for your heroes in life, it's only going to end in sadness for all of us. But I appreciate that you think so highly of me.
I mean, here's the thing, Rushi. That's not an issue, because I'm used to being sad on a daily basis. It is just like my standard setup. No. So if I'm disappointed, it's just like my standard setup anyways. And if I'm not disappointed, well, that feels rather nice. So regardless, I win and the viewers win. Actually, the viewers win because this series has been fantastic thus far. I'm really curious to see what Dark looks to go for. We've been talking about the Roach play as something that we might see happen. We haven't seen it yet. I mean, I guess we saw the Roach timing, but that's not what I'm thinking of when I think about Dark and Roaches. But this is Blackburn. If there ever was a map for a 1-1 Roach timing, it's this one.
Well, and it needs to be something that hits like a truck, because Dark is on the verge of being eliminated here from the King of Battles 2. Oh, love this. Maru dropping down the engineering bay blocked for that third base location. So Lings are going to have to come out to try and deal with that, but that means he's going to get more free pickoffs from this Reaper. So Maru's happy to try and force that engagement. So he delays the third base, he forces out some more Zergling damage, and it's just all looking up for the Red Terran player here early on a map that he hopefully will feel very confident on, so that way he can advance forward.
Yeah, no, Rushi, I got a question for you. Who the hell procs is in eBay?
Maru does. There he is.
I mean, this is... I thought the era of like, yeah, I'm going to send SCV to delay a third base for a while, then I'm going to send the Reaper to delay the third base for a while. All that, I thought that was done. That's so 2020. And then Maru says, look, I'm up 2-1 here in the semifinals against Dark. Yeah, it's time to bring it back. Let's go. Let's delay this third base a solid
Yeah, but what about
minute.
the Queen block?
Oh, no. Traitor Queen. Oh, there we go.
Who are you working for? Tell me who you're working for.
No one. I am my own queen. Or something. I'm not going to try to do a queen voice. It's not going to work, but you know. We're here. We're ready. We got a lair underway, excuse me, from Dark. I said we got a spire underway, but this is a very quick lair. So this is like one of 3 things. This is either like Roach Knightus. This is a really quick lair for a rather quick spire. Or it's some sort of Roach speed shenanigans. But considering that this is Blackburn, and considering the pressure that a Terran can put on the map here just with how short the rush distance is natural to natural, my guess is that this is going to be some sort of Roach Knightus play. But look at Maru. He's just doing the same thing he did to Raynor on this map. Now I remember what happened. Oh, nice body block with those Hellion, or with those Queens. One Hellion will go down. Second one, the rest of the 3 will actually find their way on in here. And of course, it only takes 3 Hellions to kill any number of workers. 5 workers go down. And this is before the Hellbat. Oh, I'm sorry. Production tab is making me rather giddy in my I want to see weird things type of way. We have concussive shells done. We have a fusion core on the way. We're gonna see a Marauder Hellbat battlecruiser timing, I think, and that's gonna be into really what is effectively 2.5 base Muta. This is looking very good for Mark. For Maru to find his way into the finals.
Wait a minute. Who's Mark? Who's Mark, and what have you done with Mary? I gotta agree with you though. I think this is really interesting. This is not a great map for Spire play. I was gonna try and talk about that, but then we jumped into this game really fast, and we saw Raynor have to struggle with this because this is not going to be a really good situation for that. But Dark's already into Spire play. This is now going to be able to secure that he moves in that direction, but it could also be a good situation for Dark as well. He's going to have Corruptors available right away, and in low quantities, those battle cruisers are very manageable with just a small amount of Corruptors. So it's all going to come down to scouting here. Nice little run into the ramp. Isn't going to see a whole lot, but the large amount of map scouting is going to hopefully have a positive effect here for Dark. A few more run-bys here. These aren't going to be as effective. It's going to be 4 drones picked off in total, and it's going to be Mutas.
Yeah, no, Dark has no idea what's happening, and I'm sorry. I think actually Concussive Shells was canceled. I said, oh yeah, it's gonna be no. The Concussive Shells was spinning in the tab as there was an Overlord in the main base of Dark. It was of Maru. It was absolutely a fake. Dark has no idea that this is mech again until maybe right now with the battle cruisers. Maybe he saw that third gas with the Lingen. I'm not totally sure, but he's going Mutaling Bane into, of course, a BC mech player. And yeah, 13 mutas, you can deal with that first battle cruiser well enough. It's not great, but going Mutaling Bane against mech is really a thing of the past. It's something that we saw before the most recent muta nerf. We saw Raynor do it on occasion, but you know, certainly not after the Baneling. I don't think I've seen this attempt work at all since the Baneling nerf. That being said, Baneling's on into the third base here. Maru not paying attention. 10 workers do go down as the Muta's just fleeing on over there. He's like, yes, I got the static defense. Maybe I can get a little bit more here. Battle cruisers are slow and they will not chase me down. So the Muta's here finding so much value on first blush. And maybe that's going to be enough. Maybe that's going to be enough to buy Dark the timing lead that he needs to find his way to really just start sending waves and waves and waves of Lings and Banes and Mutas into the sieved up position there of Maru and find some values. That Hellion not going to get all that much. Dark actually looking pretty solid in this game, despite the scout.
It's going to come down to defending those mineral lines here. 11 drones gone so far to the 14 of Maru, and again, we're going into another situation here where there is going to be more mech play and trying to find a way to protect his mineral lines and his gases from damage, unlike the way he did in game number 3, is going to be so crucial, especially here on Blackburn, where he's continuing to commit into more and more mutas. 9 mutas on the production tab. We do have +1 coming in. Banelings are going to try and roll on by, but not going to find the same level of excitement. But that was a pick off on that building. That was pretty nice.
It got a building fourth. Okay, you know what? That's probably more value than they could have found in the mineral line, to be totally honest. That's, you know.
You're right.
That's a lot of money right there as the battle cruisers. They are, of course, holding on to the teleport, so the meters will fly in, and immediately we're going to see Yamato BC, and there we go. They will survive. They're going to tank as much as they can. Of course, mutas do not kill BCs all that quickly at all. So a couple workers will go down. I think 2 mutas for Yamato down, but still, we're not nearly seeing the supply parity. We're not nearly seeing the damage in this game that Maru was able to achieve in game number 3. And yeah, Dark is just starting to snowball. This is something that you can do with this style. If you are able to find advantages, if you are able to keep the Terran on 3 bases, able to keep their economy low, well,
game paused.
We got a little bit of lag actually, but we'll get that fixed up rather soon. If you're able to keep that economy low, you can just send waves and waves of Ling Bane, and yeah, it's not going to trade well at all, but we're going to go there.
Blame Vitamin. We're back in though. It's all set and ready to go. Thanks so much for being patient, guys. Mutas now are going to be able to own the map here, and that map control is going to flip very quickly now into Dark's favor. So how does Dark manage to make this work here? Because those mutas are not going to be able to take a really good heads-up fight against those battle cruisers, even in the strong numbers. So they're going to have to find ways to engage that avoid the slow, bulky battle cruisers. But as a response, Maru going to come out with Thors. Those are going to be a nice natural response. And then it's a matter of figuring out where we go from there. Dark's almost maxed out in his supply right now, 182. and he needs to find a way to capitalize on this advantage that he's got for himself.
You know, I'm getting a little bit worried about Dark's setup right now. Maru is taking his fourth base. Again, Maru has taken a significant damage in this game, but Maru is taking his fourth base now. He is able to go develop a tech. He is able to break that 150 supply mark that we've been talking about. And Dark is not above 90 workers. When you go this Lingbane Muta style, when you commit to it this heavily, you want to go up to almost 100 workers and just let waves and waves and waves and waves and keep the Terran around 120 supply, even less. Dark has not been successful in doing so. Maru has done a pretty good job of keeping himself alive, as now we do see the Mutas flying on in, but we already have 2-3 Thors on the map right now. Well, 2 Thors more in production. And with that being the case, especially as they're going to have +2 rather soon, it's going to start to become a problem for these Mutas to fight. Of course, it takes 3 Thors. 3 Thor shots to kill Mutas without any sort of armor upgrades. And we're hitting that magic moment right now. Maru has his fourth base. He's at 160 supply. That being said, this is a lot of Mutas. And the Widow Mines are going to cause problems.
Anytime I see Widow Mine lines line up with Muta flock of Mutas, it's just it just gives me anxiety. But Dark able to get out with the majority of his Mutas. He still has 25, so it's not an underwhelming number at this point. But again, he has to capitalize on this moment. This is not going to scale very well for him if he's not able to find some weakness here in Maru's defense. But right now, Maru's able to just lay back. He's able to siege up some of these run-by locations and just kind of hold things down for the time being. The scouting information is going to be really crucial here for Dark, as he is trying to push forward with the creep, which admittedly is getting very close to that gold base of Maru. So maintaining that map control is going to be good, but he's got to find a way to turn that into more advantage. And an Ultralisk Cavern against Mech, it's a bold play for sure.
I mean, Dark is playing this strategy to a T. This was how you would do it. You would establish map control. You would go, you get a lot of Lingbane, you have Mutas on the map, you're just trying to trade, delay the economy of the Terran player, and then go into rather quick hive. Get Ultra Cavern. Just start to run over the Terran player. Again, you're not trading all that well, but you're just getting a lot of stuff. I don't know that there's a lot of stuff here at this point. Maru is now maxed out. He's getting to the point where he can start accumulating a bank. He's getting transformation servos just to make sure that his Thors can do high impact payload if that's what he wants. But now he's rounding out his tech path. He's rounding out his tech tree. Now, lack of drilling plus is going to be... that's a lot of Widow Mines. I think this base is still going to go down. Is there? Yes, it is. Still enough bailings despite that. But that was insanely expensive there for Dark. And he's not at a point where he's building a bank. Not really. He just bought 2 Ultras. He just got a couple more upgrades. His gas bank is gone, and yes, he's mining more. But Maru has found the transition point. He's found this moment where Dark is really not in a game, in a army that he wants to have fight here. Now the Mutas looking for something. Battlecruisers just trying to zone them out as well as they can. It's the 2-2 mech timing that we talked about last game. But it's just a bunch of Banes. And if we see Maru able to get the siege up here, that being said, Banelings on the top side, that's what we want to see here. Getting on top of everything. So many Banelings, Rushi. But still, is it going to be enough here? Maru doesn't really want to use the Banelings on anything because they're all mech units. They don't die to Banelings. That being said, it's going to be enough here, and the army of Maru stands strong.
And there's just so much gas investment here for Dark that doesn't engage very well against the gas investment of Maru. And now we're going to have Altars. Altars are going to be able to help out, especially against low health tanks here. A couple of transfuses are going to be able to come in on these high-value units. The Altars have to find damage here. They cannot let these units retreat. And here come the Lings. Dark has done it. He has secured himself a rubber match in this best of 5. 2-2 is the series all tied up. Oh no. Yeah. Yes.
Game 5. Here we go. All on the line.
Yes. Let's go. And he's picking a couple different locations here. I think he was gonna post up there just south of the third base. He's gonna get scouted. Are you kidding me?
The preparation there. Oh no.
Unbelievable. We've gone full tilt here in the King of Battles 2 semifinals. There go the drones as well. Dark knows that he's got an opportunity to jump on top of this. And how does Maru recover if he's not able to get these barracks under production here?
I think he cries first and foremost. Maybe he gives a little bit of a grimace. Then he cancels one or both. Really, he cancels both here. Although I think he may be able to complete one of them. And he goes back and tries to retool into a normal game. Maru has showed us time and time again that 2-Rex is not an all-in. It's just a timing build. It's just a little bit of light pressure that can maybe kill the Zerg if you're not paying attention. Actually, that being said, look at this SCV RNG. The SCVs are both going to be... Oh, wait, there we go. SCVs are both going to be able to clean... He got this barracks. He got the drones on these SCVs when the second barracks was like 30% done. And it still gets out.
Oh, I mean, this is still a really good position for Dark to play into. He fully knows what's coming here. If anything, he's delayed it. He's delayed it by a few precious seconds. That's going to allow his spawning pool to get finished up. That's going to get Zerglings, Queens on the map. That is valuable, precious time here for Dark that he should be able to capitalize on. But this is still a scary push for Maru. He's got all of his SCVs intact. He's got Marine production on the way. Is this going to be enough to secure this? I don't think he's going to go all the way into it, though. It's only 2 barracks and a factory started back at home in the wall.
Oh, yeah, no, it's not an all-in. But you got to remember here, the goal of a 2-Rax is not to kill a base. Not in Legacy of the Void, not in 2021. The goal is to get a couple drones. I mean, yes, if you get the base, that's fantastic. If you get the bunker up, amazing. But the goal is really to kill a couple drones, to put a slowdown on the Zerg economy. And guess what? There are 8 drones now that have not been mining for like the last minute and a half. They're sitting here zoned out on the map. They cannot return home, not for a while. And that is a problem. I mean, yeah, this is not as good as Maru wanted it to be sure. Boy, it's still a lot of lost mining time, and now we will see the Marines force the micro back here. Ling's getting on top of everything, and these Marines will get cleaned up. The question now is how many workers does Maru kill in exchange? How good is his micro here? It looks like the answer is actually going to be none. Despite all that, no drones go down, but with the reinforcement here with the 4 more Marines, we're up to 5, and Maru is committing to this a lot more than I expected him to. Is he going to get the Overlord? It should have the DPS. There we go.
Yeah.
Dark now supply blocked. This is getting complicated.
Yeah, complicated indeed, as Dark's got to know whether he needs to continue committing into this defense or not. So he's going to run the Lings by that barracks. He's going to see they're both still in production and a strong amount of Marines still mounting here. So Dark can't undercommit. His Spine Crawler is going to be allowed to finish. He did start one just in case, and it was always going to be an easy cancel in case he didn't need it, but that is going to be allowed to finish up, as it is going to be very valuable here. But now we finally see the drones come out here. 7 in the production tab. Queens and a Spine Crawler should be able to hold down this number of Marines, as the barracks are going to start flying away. 1 to scout, 1 to return back home to tell the tales of glory. Yeah,
but Rushi, we have how many Marines on the map? It's like 6-8 Marines on the map here. Our medevac is just about done. We're about to see some drop play here from Maru just a little bit. And one thing you got to remember, Dark has Queens. He's turtled up well. He's got, I think he's got Spine of the Natural. He's gonna go Roach Horn behind this, which will be scouted, by the way. Maru's drop play is very good, but you're trying to drop a 2-base Zerg. That's not gonna be. Oh, there we go. Okay, 3 games in a row. Let's go.
It worked once. There's no reason it can't work again. Great scout here by the Ling of Dark's going to see the medevac coming across the map. So that means he needs to stop targeting this barracks. This barracks is just a ploy to keep the Queens out of position. The misplace on the hatchery, I think, as well. But here comes the Hellions. They're going to try and get as much damage as possible. Those are big lineups, though. Really scary moment here for Dark. He's 6 down and still hasn't picked off anything more than just 1 of those Hellions. This is so much economic damage here. Maru's got to be feeling great about this moment.
Man, Maru just missing a little bit of a target there. There were like 5 workers in a line, but still 10 workers go down. Maru has his natural mining. He is well aware of the fact that roaches are hitting the field. He has Banshees already on the way out. These roaches are going to do nothing. Dark realizes that he has to drone up behind this, and guess what? That 3rd base, I don't know if it was a fake or what, because it looked like he canceled rebuild. He canceled it again. Oh, actually, I think those Marines got it. The Marines that are returning home now, I think they were able to cancel or kill that 3rd base as we were watching what happened in the main. So it's a 2-base Zerg against a 2-base Terran who is going, at the very least, cattle bruisers once again. Maru's actually, despite everything, despite getting his 2-rack scouted before anything happened, he's actually in a really good spot this game.
Yeah, this is just gone full tilt here for both of our players. We do have the first battle cruiser now hitting the field. It's Roach production for for Dark. So this could possibly keep Maru pinned back at home, but for how long? I mean, there's a Banshee out on the field that can easily deal with the Roach aggression and push Dark back. It could easily get across the map and do some harassment. The biggest advantage here is there's no cloak at this point, I don't believe, for that. So a slight advantage, but the battlecruiser is going to join in just a moment, and this push coming forward is going to be very scary for Maru.
That it is. There's a push coming in. And by the way, I love this. We've seen 2 straight battlecruiser mech games, right? Maru has maybe conditioned Dark to believe this is going to be mech once again when he sees the battlecruiser. No, this is Bio. We have 2 more barracks behind this. We have Stim on the way. And it's into a bunch of Roach play. So certainly here, Dark will have a timing as his Evos are underway. They will be a lot faster than the E-Bays of Mars. So that's going to be something. And now the Roaches and the Ravagers have overcommitted just a little bit. Battlecruiser in the main just started to target fire more and more and more drones down. And yeah, there's a score. So eventually, this battlecruiser is going to be forced out, but not before 7, 8, 9, 10 workers will kick the bucket here. And that's on top of the, 10 workers that died earlier on. Battlecruiser will be forced out the back, but you know, look, it's still got some time. It's going to be able to teleport back home. Now, Dark will find a bunch of this army, a bunch of the pressure on the left side, and that's going to be a little bit annoying, but we should have the Banshee. Good enough. Here's that Ravager. Will stay alive. Well done. Still, though, the economy of Dark is what I'm so afraid of. It's 8 minutes in, and yes, our timings are weird because this is, of course, this is a 2-rack game, but it's 8 minutes in, and the Zerg and the Terran have the same amount of economy. That being said, the Ravagers starting to find a decent amount of SCVs here, forcing SCVs off the line because the Banshee's not there. The army is like 5 Marines. The production here of Maru just not quite ready. Not yet. SCV's getting pulled once again.
I mean, I'm thinking the Banshee got picked off because there's no way that it didn't come home to join in on this defense. So I'm thinking Queens might have gotten the best of it out across the map. The battlecruiser's still alive. I think that's just going to inevitably get brought back home. But look at this. Infestor upgrades on the way. We're going to get Roach Infestor. BeoMulf, what year is this?
I think, let me do some math here, but I think it's 2016 or maybe 2015. You know, Legacy of the Void has just been released. We're dropping in fungals. We're dropping fungals. We're dropping Ravager Biles on top of it, and we're evaporating Terran armies. But Dark he's playing from behind. Now, there is no better Zerg in the world at playing from low eco situations, at playing from situations like this than Dark. But on the flip side, what's the homily of Maru? If you're ahead of Maru, you're even. If you're even with Maru, you're behind. If you're behind Maru, the game's just about over. So we're going to have to see whether that is true here. 1-1 is now done, far, far ahead of the 1-1 of the Roach player. Dark is not quite getting his upgrade started the way he would have liked with all the pressure on the map from Maru. And with this bio here, I mean, the 1-1 versus 1-1 timing, the max out is what you're looking for Dark. Guess what? Dark's supply block, he's not going to be able to max out for a while. So instead, he's going to go for that style that we were talking about before the series even started. You get Roaches, but you get Hydra Den pretty quickly. You get a Hive. You just go into 2-2 Lurkers much quicker than you might otherwise do. And then it becomes scary. But I mean, Maru, I feel like he's going to have the tech he needs for this.
Oh, absolutely he will. Not having any Banelings to go a part of this army. I mean, despite the fact that he doesn't have the gas to be able to afford Roach Ravager, Infestor, Baneling. He's just barely now getting his 4th base underway. He does have the 7th and 8th gas, but the timing is now. He can't afford to wait here. Big Fungal is going to land on the top side, not grabbing as many of those Marines as possible, but tanks in good, advantageous positions here. 1 tank on the right-hand side. These Bio Forces are going to be able to just shove on forward and use their powers for good to take out all of those Ravagers. So now Biles are no longer going to be a part of this. The Queens are going to try and push on forward, but do they have the range to be able to grab the tank on the left-hand side? I'm not quite sure. They have to pop really far forward here. That means the tank's going to be able to get a lot more value than it otherwise would have had there been Ravagers. So 20 Roaches on the production. Dark is just continuing to slam the Roach key here. He wants to get into this and somehow snuck out a Hydra Den and is getting into Lurkers. We're going to see a pivot of major proponents at some point here in the near future, but can he hold on until then?
Well, that's going to be a really damn big fungal here, but the Roaches really cannot get on top of this second tank just yet. They are absolutely melting. We got personal healers for just about every Marine at this point, but we are at that 1-1 timing now. The army of Dark is looking big enough to once again clean this up. But Rushi, again, I ask you, I was about to say what cost, but there's medevac's going down with all the army of Maru inside. Actually, that was very expensive. That being said, again, with the Lurkers done here with Hive, I believe Hive was taken. I'm not sure. But with the Lurker Den just about done here, Dark will be able to get into even more of a defensive setup. But still, 2-2 just about done here for Maru. +2 attack, +2 armor, just barely starting for Dark at this point. Things are getting, I mean, Maru is just really just out-trading the Terran player at this point. But, you know, in all fairness to Dark, there is one Zerg player that can consistently beat Maru in series in 2021. His name is Cyril, and he's the only Zerg player I see go that actually gets infested in the late game. So, maybe that is Maru's weakness. Not allowed to micro his units nearly as well anymore. Well, suddenly, that advantage is maybe not quite as significant.
Oh, okay, good. There's going to be a good scout here on that Lurker Den by Maru, so he will know that something is in the works here for a transition. We do have Hydras on the production tab, and I think that's going to be an exactly good moment here for Maru to try and capitalize on a timing. He's going to take the army here to the right-hand side and continue that pressure. 10 drones do end up falling to the battlecruiser harassment as it cruises through the backsides of those bases, but it's just so many roaches. They don't scale as well into the late portions of the game. So it's going to come down to giant fungals to try and clutch this out. And he does land one right in the middle of all of these units. Roaches come in from the left-hand side and draw a lot of tank fire as well. So that means tanks are not going to trade as efficiently. And this Bioforce has been pushed back again. Dark able to hold time and time again and buys himself time to start that Lurker production.
Yeah, but again, I mean, the tanks, we saw 2 of them die, but some of them are still alive here. And every time I look at this, yes, Dark holds, but he's a Roach player. Yes, he's getting more expensive units now, but for the most part, his supply is getting reset to even with the Terran player after every fight, which is not all that great, as we do have the fight coming on in. Now, Ghost Academy, what I will say, Ghosts are a little bit late in this army of Maru. His Ghost Academy is just now coming on in, as he will need a rescan here to knock down these Lurkers. And this is going to be a little bit more complicated to push on in at this point. We only have +3 attack, by the way, on the way from Maru, not +3 armor. He's pulling a Beyond right now. We're going to have to see whether he's able to rectify that. But now with the Lurkers here, I don't believe they have seismic spines yet. And there we go. This base will get canceled. Dark still stuck on 4 bases. And yeah, if you're going Lurker style like this, if you're going this explicit style from Dark, it's very good at staying alive on equal basis to the Terran. But I want to say Maru has this 5th command center. Yeah, 5th command center floating on over right now. By the way, how is that battlecruiser still alive? I'm kind of offended at this point. There we go, it's dead. Thank you, Dark.
Oh, that slow push by Maru here, textbook south of the 4th base. And now there's just nothing here for Dark to be able to hold this down. There is one Viper. Viper's going to be helpful, but that's not going to be enough. These tanks are very well spread. Here comes all of the units pushing on forward. Good blinding cloud in the center is going to cover up a few of these tanks, but once again, how is he going to be able to stabilize here? Does Dark have enough? The tanks are able to stand the Lings trying to come on in. Will be able to get one more tank, but one final tank in the end. The Bio pushes forward, knocks down that 4th base location. Dark can't afford to be on 3 base economy because it's actually closer to 1. And Maru able to capitalize on a push and puts Dark further and further into the ground, hoping to finalize a 3-2 victory here.
Dark got Lurkers on the back side. He was able to get Lurkers on top of 2 or 3 tanks. They were not firing. In fact, they died rather quickly, but even still, the army in the front, it's 2-2 Terran Bio against a bunch of Roaches. That's never going to fight all that well. That being said, a lot of them just evaporated to that one fungal, but now it is a 3-base Zerg against a 5-base Terran. His planetary is underway. Now we have Ghosts hitting. Now we have +3 armor. Maru was able to fix that one. So he's got 3-3 underway. He's got personal cloaking. He's getting +2 mech attack. He knows that this Lurker is here. It's going to go down. It's not going to kill anything. And Dark, man, he was looking so good in this series. He was looking so good in Game 5. You're like, oh no. He's caught the 2-Rex before it does anything. This is going to be the first tournament in the last 3 that Maru has not been in the finals. But at this point, Maru's up 40 supply. He has his 3-3 underway. He has Ghosts here now. He is in that stage of the game that everyone should be afraid of. He's in that stage of the game that every Zerg player that he's played against outside of Cyril has been trying to avoid. That late game, the ghost tank idea. That being said, really nice abducts here. Half the Ghosts will go down in an instant. That big advantage that Maru has with his ability to snipe down, it is going to be gone here, but that does not matter because the army's stimming on in. Half the Lurkers die in an instant. And looks like we got a little bit of lag, but hopefully we're going to be... doesn't look like it's impacting the players all that much as Lurkers will get surrounded. Hug of death. Okay.
Oh, I'm always worried when I see the stutter. The stutter is just terrifying. And so is Maru. Maru secures his passage, and he asserts why he is the reigning king of battles here at Alpha X. GG is called, and Maru takes game number 5 and advances to the grand finals.
That he does. Oh man, Rushy.